Hi, welcome to the video. My name is Dychronic, and today I'm taking a look at the Xur, his inventory, my recommendations, and random rolls for September 30th, 2022. You know, it's been many years since the tower was broken into, and it's still broken. Bungie, the Traveler fixed itself. Why are we not getting on this? And you can find the Xur in his regular spot in the tower. Just head over into the top left section of the hangar. You can find the Xur right over here on this precipice. Hold on. I can do better. Hold on. Escarpment? What?
Escarpment.
A what? Escarpment? Now that is a synonym I did not expect. Let's just stick with precipice, shall we? Anyways, this is a high overview. This is all you cared about. First up for the weapon today, we have the Cerberus +1. Now this is an interesting gun because it's essentially an automatic shotgun in auto rifle form. It literally shoots a spray of like 4 or 3 bullets, and it shoots it at the target very automatically. And furthermore, you can aim down sights, reduce the spread of the projectiles, and then the catalyst also does something weird, which I've never really liked. Unfortunately, it still does about primary ammo damage, so you're still going to be limited by the primary ammo in this. Personally, I'd like to see an automatic shotgun for the special or heavy. That'd be fun. Overall, it's a fun weapon, can have some uses, but not really top tier in anything. Following that, for the Hunter Exotic, we have these Stompies. Now, these Stompies is a little bit of a contentious issue here because it got nerfed a little while ago that made it so its mid-air accuracy is absolute doo-doo. That being said, mid-air accuracy stuff is not nearly as bad as people make it out to be, and furthermore, the rest of the Exotic is still amazing. Sprinting faster, sliding farther, incredible high jumps. It's really good to have in PvP and still nice for PvE jump stuff. As far as the roll goes, you like to see, I guess, mobility, recovery, maybe some resilience, and it has resilience, but the rest is kind of all over the place. Total 62 is around the average, so it's up to you. Following that, we have the Titan Exotic known as DUNEMARCHERS, kind of the Titan version of Stompies, although there's not a ridiculous mid-air accuracy issue on it. It's essentially the sprint boots. You increase your sprint speed. Sprinting also builds up a static charge, which you can then melee attack an enemy and causes chain lightning to a bunch of stuff. Keep in mind, you can build up this charge and it will stay on your melee even if you stop sprinting, which is very nice. Overall, if you like to be very aggressive, very close range in Crucible, this is very nice to use. And correct me if I'm wrong, I believe shoulder charges don't one-shot anymore, but with this extra bit of damage from DUNEMARCHERS, it might one-shot if you chained enemies. As far as a roll, I guess you'd like to see more PvP stuff, like, again, mobility and recovery and some resilience, and it has a ton of resilience, although the total stats of 61 is below average. Not a big fan of this roll. And of course, for the Warlock Exotic, we have the ASTROCYTE Verse, an exotic that's somewhat hard to use, high skill floor, high skill ceiling though, and actually can have a very good effect on the field, because it essentially solves every single problem you could have with Blink, in my opinion, making it better than the D1 Blink ever was. The problem is that it's only on Void, which is not a huge problem since Void 3.0 is pretty good on the Warlock, but it is still very limited, and again, somewhat hard to use. That being said, pretty much any time in PvP an enemy appears above me, they've won that fight, because as a controller user, I've completely lost them. And Blink allows you to do just that. As far as the roll goes, I don't know exactly what you'd want with this. I would assume mobility is in there because you want to be faster, and with Void you want mobility. And I guess recovery and resilience, not a lot of that, but 65 is slightly above average. For the legendary weapons, first up we have the Whispering Slab, a killing when opening shot, has some accuracy stuff, and has a fiberglass shaft, which is very important for the accuracy. You can see here that it is a much better accuracy on it, and it's very important to have accuracy on bows, especially for lightweight frames. Beyond that, I do believe there are better rolls, but this seems like a pretty good PvP roll, definitely a very high stat advantage. Following that, a John 7, full auto and rampage, a pretty good combination with range stuff and a medium zoom. Usually you want a bit of a farther zoom to get some pretty darn good range, but that being said, I think that in general 390 pulse rifles are very underrated. A great middle zone of magazine, handling of range, stability. Overall, they're just stuff that you can't do wrong with. Following that, a precision frame SMG, the autoloading Wellspring Friction Fire. Now autoloading is not usually good on primary weapons, and Wellspring is okay. You could definitely do better and definitely have a lot more range stuff. Following that, the Timeless Vertex, led from Gold Disruption Break, might be more of a PvE side of things, although there definitely could be some better stuff here, like for example a damage perk. Following that, Sojourner's Tale. Moving target opening shot seems like a pretty good combination, although it does not have a lot of range stuff outside of that. Could definitely have a lot more range things, definitely more of a PvP role. Following that, Falling Guillotine, Tireless and Surrounded, not a bad combination. High guard, resilience, and efficiency at a perfect 100. I don't even know what that means. Although definitely, again, you could get Relentless and Whirlwind or some other stuff. There's definitely better rolls. And finally, we have the Lonesome, Zen Moment Demolitionist. It seems like a very standard roll on this weapon, but again, I'm not a fan of precision frames on sidearms. I prefer the 3 bursts and the 2 bursts a lot more, but this is a good roll. In fact, it has a lot of range stuff in control here. Following that, for the Titan armors available, the arms 62, high mobility, some recovery, no resilience is okay. This one with high mobility and high discipline, maybe not most people's favorite. The chest piece, high mobility, recovery, and discipline, a decent combination, but again, resilience is very low. If you can compensate, this is okay. 57, not really the best total. Mobility and strength, not again. And finally, we have resilience, recovery, and strength. Not a bad combination, but a low total stats. And of course, the exotic weapons. First up, the Hawkmoon has quick draw. Not a bad thing to have on a Hawkmoon, and furthermore, it does have the recoil direction. Usually with Hawkmoon, I like to get a rangefinder and a recoil direction in either one of these columns to get that recoil direction up to 100. And following that, we have the DMT, which is subsistence. And again, I like moving target or Vorpal here, and again, having a recoil direction, bringing this up to 99 is something that's nice to have. Beyond that, high cal rounds or range and handling stuff is usually your better bet. And finally, any exotic engram you ever receive will be guaranteed to be an exotic you don't have, and it will be a high stat roll outside of the ones that are only from the lost sectors. And of course, I want to give a big thank you to my patrons on Patreon. Specifically, a big thank you to Mom and Dad, Postalones, Box World, Mighty Stu, Box News, Panther, Case Reagan for their support on Patreon. And that's it. Hope you guys did enjoy. My name is Dychronic, and I'll see you guys on the next one.